if you continue to deposit more than you withdraw into your network, it will always have your back. Always. And I say it's like it's not a bunch of people, but it is a bunch of people. Yeah. And however you can figure out how to support them, throw value at them 10 times more than you ever ask for it back, they'll always have your back. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if that weren't the case.
Welcome to the She's So Sweet podcast, where we interview accomplished women who have worked their way to the C-suite. I am your host, Christy Falteruso, Chief Customer Officer and award-winning Customer Success Executive. I am super duper excited for our guest today. I've got Esther Iyamu, who's founder and CEO of GrowthQ. Esther, how are you? Welcome to our show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. Like I mentioned, I've been following you for a little bit, so I was like, I cannot wait. We are going to have so much fun.
We're going to have so much fun. I agree. So I don't care if our listeners love this episode or don't love this episode. I think you and I are going to have a blast. Basically. And maybe they'll walk away with some learnings. Okay. All right, Esther, listen, before we get into all the great stuff, and we're going to talk all about your career and all the amazing things that you've been up to that got you to where you are today, let's set the stage for folks. Let's give a little foundation. Tell us about who you are, what you're doing. Yes. Let's do that first.
You know, it's interesting. I was chatting about this with somebody and I had to say they kept bringing it up. So I was like, I should probably talk more about this. I feel like my life is like the pivotal career of pivots. It's like I'm like the pivot queen, if you will, from and why I say that, I feel like there are 4 major pivots in my life that have like shaped who I am. Number 1, moving from the UK. I was born in London, raised, moving as an immigrant family from the UK to the United States at like 11 years old. Huge pivot, leaving everything you know. What the heck? Totally different. Yeah. Pivot number 2 was in college, switching from computer science to business, because I was just like, don't get me wrong, I love this STEM stuff, but at the time, I just started my first year as a rookie as an NFL cheerleader, and nobody wanted to partner with the NFL cheerleader for projects. What? So I'm like,
I want to partner with the NFL cheerleader. Wait, yeah. I didn't even know that we might have to do 3 episodes. This is going to be crazy.
I mean,
all right, like, so that's another pivot. All right, give me your next pivot.
So pivot there. Then next pivot, I'm my second year into cheering in the NFL. I had started my first company. Obviously, I switched majors in college from computer science to business, which also supported my first company at the time. And then this teeny tiny company comes along called Cisco, and they're like, yes, we're recruiting right out of college. You got to move across the country to this place called Raleigh, North Carolina, be there for a year, and who knows where you'll be afterwards. And I was like, I think I've got to go do that. And so I took a chance and moved across the country to go, close the doors for my company at the time, close the doors for, my going on for my next year with the NFL, and jump straight into working in big tech in sales. My first inside sales, BDR, SDR type role. And then the next pivot, which is crazy because I thought I was only going to be at that company for a few years. I ended up being there for 16 years, doing several roles. Crazy. And in my last position at the company, I was leading go-to-market for a $300 million ARR managed services business within the larger company, global team, all 3 geos, all the things. And I was like, this isn't for me. And I say it wasn't for me now. It took me a bit to get there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, but I wanted to go and build something. And I'd done some incredible things. The company was so great to me and let me try so many things at the company at the time. But I wanted to go build something. And, after a few months and raising some capital, GrowthQ was born in September 2022. So I feel like all of those interesting pivots have just shaped, who I am. I'm a person that is not afraid of taking risks if it means making lasting impact, even though in the short term it's going to be a bit uncomfortable.
Well, I think you just secured every listener who's gotten this far to just commit to the entire episode, because I'm over here hanging on. I'm like, I have no idea where this is going, but I want to hear every single word of it.
Every little part.
My goodness. Okay, wait. And can you tell everybody, where are you located now?
Okay, talk about pivot number 5. 10 weeks ago, my husband and I moved from the San Francisco Bay Area to Dubai, UAE.
So, okay, like I've never been. It looks beautiful. What has the experience been like a couple weeks in? Like, what's the culture thing that you're like, you didn't know, you couldn't have anticipated, that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
First of all, anybody that follows me on Instagram, I've been like going live about this like crazy. So number 1, it is the safest city in the entire world. I mean, and they've won awards about this. I mean, like it's the number 1 city that women travel to alone. It is the number 2 safest city on the planet. It is just ridiculously safe. Like, and think about what that means for women, right?
I live in New York, so like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm very interested in what you have to say here.
And like, this is coming from a 5-year New Yorker. Like, you get conditioned to look over your shoulder all the time.
Right.
Daylight,
walk
nighttime
with your
doesn't
keys
matter.
in your hand. Yeah, like
Thank
you are on edge all the time. I don't even wear both headphones ever, because then you hear what's happening. Yeah,
I don't need to do that. I don't need to do any of that.
I'm so jealous.
Literally, like it's 9:27 p.m. here. I could walk down an alley and be absolutely fine. It is so safe here. And, you know, it sounds like it's just about safety at night, but it's a lot more than that. Everything in the culture is, you are safe here. We do not break laws. You can trust your life with me, your keys with me, your kids with me. You see people in the mall, a random woman and her baby and a stroller asking a random person, watch my kid while I go to the restroom. That is very normal here.
Yeah, and that's something you would just never do.
Are you kidding?
I would never do that. I would never do that.
Kidding?
I would be going to the bathroom one-handed, holding the baby in my hand. Like, or I would just hold it. Like, you just
right.
So I'll just wait till I'm home. I'll just wait.
Yeah, exactly. I will just hold it. So just that in itself breeds a culture of trust, breeds a culture of safety. It just makes you feel like you don't have to worry. You don't have to constantly look over your shoulder. That's number 1. Number 2, 365 days of sunshine. I will take any freaking day. The vitamin D that my body is now experiencing because there is sunshine all the time, every day. I'm outside so much more. My mood is so much better. Like, it is fantastical. Granted, I'm a different breed. My husband is not a fan of 80 degree plus weather. I love 80 degree plus weather all the time. So I'm in heaven.
Maybe though, can I challenge that? Listen, you lived in New York for 5 years. Don't you miss a cold Christmas? Like, isn't there something magical about like a snowy Christmas, the aesthetic, the scarves, like seasonal clothes, like the fall aesthetic wardrobe when you start to layer? God. Like, I don't know. There's like little pieces of seasons that I would miss.
I miss New York so much for that.
I'm just trying to make myself feel better about the fact that I'm here and you're there. So like, just roll with me a little bit here. Okay. Let's pretend like I still have things that are cool too.
I mean, that's true. No, there is, a good, the first snow in November is beautiful. Having a good fall, all amazing things and all reasons why I'll probably still always come visit. But I tell you,
you got a magical place there.
Oh my God. I'm just enjoying it so much. It's so great.
Well, we've got so much to dig into here, but I got to start at the beginning, and the beginning starts little Esther. So I have to imagine that as far back as you can remember, the littlest version of yourself with the earliest memory, you did not think you were going to be doing this job when you were little. What did you want to be? What did you think you were going to be?
So I always thought I was going to do something with other kids. Even being young, I thought I would be doing things. I thought I would be teaching kids or teaching dance classes all over the world or something where I was impacting the lives of little kids. My mom always tells a story. When I was 18 months old, I had third-degree burns kind of like on my arm.
Oh my gosh.
And we spent a lot of time, and it sounds really dramatic, but not that big.
Okay.
But we spent a lot of times in the burns unit. And so, but the thing that she would always tell the story of is every morning that we'd wake up in the burns unit, because, they'd have the little suite and you could be there with your parents. My parents would spend the night with me, of course. But I was always up before them, running around to all the different rooms of all the other kids' rooms to go say good morning and go figure out what they're doing. And, did they get their bear or did they go have they were supposed to go somewhere? And this is I'm 18 months, 2 years old, right? But the whole point though is that sense of wanting to impact other people has just always been in there. I just thought I would be doing it in dance or with kids somehow.
Man, okay, I love that. Now, I don't know, I could take this conversation a lot of different places, but I'm selfishly going to dig into one little part here because you've got me very intrigued. You got to go to the NFL cheerleading part. I'm sorry. I know that is not core to the demographic of listeners. You're all just going to have to bear with us because I am interested. And since I'm hosting, I get to ask the questions. How did we get to the NFL? I was a cheerleader in high school. Clearly I wasn't good. So tell me.
So it's funny. So I've danced most of my life. I started out in musical theater, danced most of my life. Danced on teams and clubs, danced in high school, cheered in high school. And once I got to college, I was on the dance team in college.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Santa Clara.
Where'd you go?
Yes, I went to Santa Clara University in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And at the time before I made my college dance team, I was dancing on a hip hop crew. And one of the dancers that was on the hip hop crew with me, she went to church with me too. Her name was Angela Johnson. If you've heard of the famous Angela Johnson comedian, she's the bomb. Love her so much. She's touring actually right now. Oh, she's phenomenal. Well, she was on that team with me and she had made the Oakland Raiders. And she came back and she's like, Esther, I really think you should give NFL cheerleading a try. I love that we do this hip hop crew thing and it's so much fun, but I really think you should give this a try. There's so much more to it than just dance. There's brand, there's speaking engagements, there's teamwork. There's so much more to it. And I really think you should give it a try. I'm 18 at the time. I'm a little kid. And, she basically put me on. Obviously what other team am I going to audition for, but the Oakland Raiders, I didn't make it. But she kind of coached myself and her sister to go through an audition process. And we ended up making it all the way to the finals and then didn't make it. And that's kind of how it began. Once I got a taste, and I'm Nigerian girl, I'm competitive as hell. But once I got a taste, I was like, oh no. If I'm going to do this, this is not going to be you just go and audition and, that was fun. Let me move on. Right. No, we're going to do it. And 7 years, 3 teams later, crazy girl. But
wow. Okay. What teams did you cheer on?
So, it's funny. I got rejected from 5, but I cheered for 3. So I cheered for the San Francisco 49ers, 2 seasons. I did the LA Clippers for 1 season. Then while I was living in LA, I flew back and forth and did another year with the 49ers from LA. And then I moved to New York and then I did 3 years with the New York Jets.
Wow. That's super impressive. Good for you. That's super cool. I'm slightly jealous. I feel like I got a taste of maybe what you have experienced when I watched the Dallas Cowboys, the documentary on the cheerleaders. I was like, wow, is this real? Is that what it's really like? It is? Okay. Thank you for making all of my dreams come. I just need 100%. People to validate the things that I believe are true. And so I appreciate you for that. Thank you. And I just believe that if it's on TV, it must be real. So That was what I was thinking it was. Okay. So I appreciate that. Okay. Now we're going to go to some serious stuff. So obviously you've had this amazing journey that has taken you all different places, literally and figuratively. I want you to reflect back on your career journey for a minute. Now you've had all these pivotal shifts that you talked about, a lot of them geographically, a lot of them kind of making these career moves. But when you really think, when it comes down to it, and I know Cisco afforded you a lot of opportunity to kind of build and grow your career there. Yeah. What are some of those big pivotal moments or the key decisions that you had to make throughout your career that you really felt helped you get to where you are today?
You know, I think two major things. One was community and two was taking calculated risks. And I'll talk about calculated risks first and then community. You know, I started out at the company like a lot of people did. The company really spent time recruiting from colleges around the world and bringing them up through their sales organization. You start out in the training program, you become an SDR, BDR, then you get your first territory and quota, and you kind of like raise in the ranks. That's all I knew, right? Yeah. And I want to say maybe 11, 12 years in, I got a unique opportunity to go into something I'd never done before. It was a role that was not even created. They were creating it. I didn't know the expectations. I didn't know what success could look like. It could have meant like disaster for my career or like blossom. And I took the risk anyway and became the first chief of staff to our, at the time, first ever head of sales and marketing that we brought in from the outside. All of our heads of sales had all been from internal hires that have graduated up in the company. And that was a huge pivotal change for me. Number one, I wasn't quota carrying. My whole life was quota carrying. My first 6 figures to my first $1 million as a sales rep, I was carrying a quota. I thought like ill will of anybody that didn't carry a quota. I'm like, poor them.
Like,
they must
explain your value.
Explain your value.
What do you do here?
So bad. You must be in poverty. Poor you. How can I support your life? No, so bad. It's just the ego. But like just had no clue and really navigating what a Fortune 64 company looks like from that top view and how all of the pieces support each other. The 20,000 person sales force plus the 20,000 person customer experience organization plus like all of these other functions, engineering, product management, services, what it means to do business globally for that large of a company. And I never would have gotten that experience had I not taken that risk. It was hard. Yeah. People are like, congratulations on getting the job. I remember this guy actually posting it, like people could see it. Congratulations on joining the back office. You're now like a glorified assistant. I mean, like, oh my God.
Haters gonna hate. It's fine. It's fine.
Like what? But you know, but that like stuck. I mean, you know, like people you look around and you'd admired and stuff. And now they're like looking at you kind of like, oh, great. Now you're a glorified assistant. How great is that? But what they didn't see and they couldn't have unless they'd experienced that is just the amount of visibility and lessons that I was learning from being in a room full of professional business athletes. Like, oh my God, the lessons I learned from that 1 year experience.
I mean, like that's like getting 5 MBAs. That's like, 100%. You know, you can't pay for that kind of education and exposure ever.
At all.
So
at all.
It's whatever. I won't talk poorly about that person, but clearly a little short-sighted. That's amazing. Okay. All right. So now so obviously that was a big pivot for you.
Huge.
Give me another one, a big change. You talked about community. What role did community play in this for you?
I think so. Now the second pivot I would say, and there are many of them in my time, for example, at Cisco, but the one where it showed up the most for me was when I made the jump from what I'd known my entire corporate career, which is working for big, large technology companies, to going and starting a company from scratch. Like I didn't even do the thing that you're supposed to, which is go work for a startup first.
Go work for a startup and go go watch how messy it is, embrace it, learn it, love it.
That part.
No, you skipped that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
skip that part.
Yeah.
I went straight for the fire in true Esther fashion. And I got to tell you, again, my community showed up. Like, some of my first major introductions to funders were from my community. Many of my actually, every single one of my investors I've known for more than a decade, with the exception of one. And the only reason why they are in there is because of one of the other investors.
Amazing.
So, like, I tell you, I mentioned, I've said this all my career, and I will never stop saying it. I don't care what technology is in place. If you continue to deposit more than you withdraw into your network, it will always have your back. Always. And I say it like it's not a bunch of people, but it is a bunch of people. Yeah. And however you can figure out how to support them, throw value at them 10 times more than you ever ask for it back, they'll always have your back. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today if that weren't the case.
I love that so much. Okay. Now we know that our careers are not all sunshine and rainbows. So let's talk about some of the hard stuff. So obviously you've had to navigate some difficult things along the ways. So when you reflect back, we've got battle scars. Talk to me about some of the challenges or obstacles that you had to overcome.
Oh my God. This one always gives me goosebumps, but if I could sum it up into a sentence, it's hiring fast and firing slow. Everyone says you're supposed to hire slow and fire fast. And they say that, I can't curse. They say that for a reason.
Yes, you can.
Okay, they say that shit for a reason. And it's still one of those that I have to be honest, I struggle with today. And for two reasons. So first, a firing slow story. I remember getting into a really, really big job. It was a big jump for me. At the time, I'd had, in 3 years leading up to that job, I had 2 really big promotions in 3 years. That's so I'd gone from like a manager to director to senior director in like a span of like.
And people need for context, this is in Cisco. So this isn't like at a little startup. This is like when you are a senior director in a large company, there's a large scope to this role. Large scope.
And so it was a lot of stakes. It was working for an incredible leader who also had a lot of stakes on her. And I remember getting into that role, and I made the cardinal sin that I think most, I don't want to call it women. I don't want to say it's women of color. I think people in general make this, is wanting to be liked more than wanting to be respected for doing a good job. And I got into a role where, when I got into the role, I found out really quickly that there was a high performer on paper that needed to not be on the team. And in an effort to be liked, I instead was like, but everybody's going to hate me if I get rid of this person. And I'm the new person coming in from the outside.
Right.
And I thought everybody thought that way. And later on, after, a while down the road, we've seen a ton of things happen, changes on the team. It kind of was uncovered that, like, frankly, we would have been totally fine without that person on the team. In fact, it would have opened up an opportunity for rising stars to really shine on the team. And a lot of them were being kind of foreshadowed and pushed down. And, and it didn't come out until later. And I remember looking back being like, oh my God, I was the one now that had made such a mistake in not getting in there, realizing that quickly, and making the tough decision anyway, and allowing some of the high performers or rising high performers really step up and shine. And so I would say that was a battle scar that, like, I will never forget. A second one is hiring too fast. Oh my God, Christy, this one makes me
Well, because when
cringe.
there's a need, is this like one of the situations where it's like we're desperate, we need to fill a role type of thing?
You know,
like was there urgency? Was there urgency that made you act out of character?
So the thing is, I wasn't acting out of character because that's what you do at a big, large company with a lot of capital, with a lot of resources. What do? You throw people at the problem.
Sure.
When you are at a startup, every dollar you spend that isn't going to return $2 shortens the life of your company.
Right.
And so what I knew is, let's just hire the people. We will figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that into the startup world is a death sentence. Literally, I almost killed our company because of it. And, you know, having to like backtrack from that and like fire a ton of people is like the war wounds you get for making those mistakes.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's still one I struggle with today because my instinct wants to go to, I know the job that needs to be done. Let me just hire a person that can do it better than I can because everyone's read Who Not How. Who Not How says, get a who, don't figure out a how. They will figure it out for you. Yes, and times are changing. Technology is taking over for people now. Data has to be able to lead in where hiring decisions are made. And even more so important for technology startups, if you cannot tie revenue to adding that person to the bottom line, if you cannot see there being a net positive to the bottom line for adding that person, you gotta face the fire and you've got to grit it out without them until you can figure it out.
Oh yes.
So,
well, your stories, they hit because I have made those mistakes. I mean, we have kept very toxic employees who were high performers because they were high performers, because almost like there was fear that the business couldn't survive without them and their contributions. But like you stated, right? And your experience was no different than mine and no different than most, right? Companies aren't built on one person, right? They're built on teams of people. And so there's not one person holding the company together, which means if they leave, we've got enough poles on this tent. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, listen, as much as I can sit here and we can talk about doom and gloom all day, I want us to talk about your successes now, because I also feel like as women, we don't do enough to celebrate our wins. You want to know why? Because we're also ambitious that we're like, we have a win and we're on to the next thing. We're already planning out the next 5 things we want to accomplish. We do not reflect. We do not celebrate. So girl, we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to celebrate. This is your party. So give me some of your proudest moments. You look back in your career and you're like, yes, I did that. I did that. And I hope one of them is the first time you hit $1 million in your revenue. Because I mean, I am... Girl, you have a lot of like talking points here where I'm like, yes, tell me exactly how you did that. All right, give me your biggest successes. Give me your biggest successes.
Oh my gosh. And you're so right, because the first thing I want to talk about is like, you know, how we're not making all these things on the horizon that I want us to, and looking more immediately back. But, you know, I'm very proud of some of the things I've accomplished that year in particular. Like, you know, a lot of people made a lot of money that year. Like it was a great year. A lot of people made a lot of money that year. And we went, you know, after that, going on to be a people manager and seeing folks on my team also experience that. Like there's nothing like that. That I will always hold dear as one of my proudest moments. It's one thing for you to like be successful, but like, for you to then go and lead and see the people that you're leading be successful, like that's
the comment of a true leader. Let me pause there for a second, because only great leaders say things like that. So good for you. We're going to celebrate that success, because a leader who can help their team accomplish such big things. And we're not going to lie, right? Like if you're in a go-to-market role, revenue earning that much is your goal, right? Like you're not in this isn't charity work, right? We're in here to make money. And when you're making that level of money, I mean, like that's a win. That's a win. So I love that you're able to celebrate how you helped your teams get there. Now, I know you have a lot of successes. So give me another big proud moment of yours.
I have to say, 2025 has been a really, really good year for GrowthQ. And for those listening, I mean, Christy and I have been kikiing, but for those listening who don't know what GrowthQ is an AI-powered platform that is focused on matching tech sales professionals to their best earning opportunities, whether it's matching them to mentors or matching them to a better job. Like, in my mind, I've done my life's work if more people can get in that profession and do what you and I do and make life-changing money from doing so. And so that for me is paramount. And this year has been a amazing year for GrowthQ. 2024 was a rough year. I'm not going to lie. 2024 was a tough year because it was a hyper focus on building our product, on hiring and firing.
Sure.
On inflection, on trying to break limiting beliefs, quite frankly, because I think there were areas in our business that personally I was holding us back because of fear. And 2025 has been an incredible year for us. We have, we launched our second product, was this mentor matching at the end of last year, crickets. And it is a record quarter for us this coming year. And we just started. It's May.
Right.
It's May. So that has just been incredible to see the stories of people matching to folks that are helping them unlock their raw materials and their skill sets. There's nothing like that. And the flip side for people who are mentoring, getting to see them be recognized and appreciated and compensated for their battle scars and wounds and stories and lessons. Let me tell you, layoffs hit everyone hard in 2024 in the tech industry in particular. There are great people that have been on the market who are like, wait a minute, I've been overachieving for years. There's no reason why I should have been cut. And to see them appreciated, to see them able to earn income flexibly because they can get on the platform, offer up, here's what I've learned, here's what I've done in my career, and have people flock to wanting to spend money to learn from them. I'll do this all day. There's such joy in being able to have create technology that makes that possible. And then, I would say a major thing for us personally is us moving to Dubai and preparing to start our family here. That is not a pregnancy announcement.
Okay.
Make that clear.
I was like, I'm not going to ask because I know better, but.
Yeah. It's
glad
not.
he answered. Okay.
Yes, but I have been, everywhere I go, I have been publicly and openly sharing we are starting our family this year because I'm manifesting it, period.
I love that
I'm
for you.
putting it out there. We are manifesting it and we're starting our family this year. And so it's really, really great to be in this beautiful place and focus on building this empire of what is GrowthQ and building our family. So
that's fantastic. Now, there is something else that I think we talked about that I want to circle back on. Didn't you say that you also raised a round?
I did.
As well. So let's talk about that because I think that is a big success considering how few female-founded companies get the capital that you've just earned, right? That you had gotten invested in. So I think that's something that's worth celebrating and acknowledging because there are a lot of female-founded companies out there that are not getting what they need to continue on their journey. So I need to celebrate you for a second on that one.
I appreciate you. Thank you for creating the space and making me celebrate that because it was not easy. It was during, one of the biggest financial crises in startup history, the collapse of SVB and a ton of, financial services companies that mainly serviced us. They lost trust and thus founders lost trust. And it's one thing if you're 2-3 time founder and you've been, getting money from these
yeah.
VCs forever. But when you're at the bottom already and it's rare that you're already going to be even getting trust and then getting capital, I mean, I saw friends of mine, peers that were really struggling during that time. And I am incredibly grateful for our set of investors who stuck it out with us. They reinvested with us since our first raise. And it certainly wasn't easy. And I posted about the journey of going and raising capital. I think everybody's fundraising journey is different. For me, I leveraged my strengths and I leaned into my strengths. And my strengths were, I spent 16 years as a go-to-market operator. And that meant I had a network of people who already knew me, who already knew how I worked, who already knew my work ethic and what I could do. But even more so, I was building in an area that many of that people in that network knew the problem set also. And so I went there to go raise as opposed to institutionally. Now, granted, that's not to say that I didn't go to institutional funds and get fucking rejected, but
you got to shoot your shot.
You got to shoot your shot, girl. You got to shoot your shot. But what ended up yielding our pre-seed fundraise was going to investors who knew our problem set, knew my work ethic, knew just had examples of like, hey, she figured out how to make that work and that work and that work. I can trust her with this large check.
I love that.
So, I mean, everybody's is different. I'm not against the VC game. I also strongly believe that the accelerator route is a great route also. And I will probably go down that route at some point. But in the early stages for me, raising from angels that were already within my network that I knew could bring in a potential amount, meant more investors, a little bit more, not that much, but a little bit more than maybe one or two. But it worked for me. And I decided to lean into my strengths.
I love that. And now you guys get to fight and see another day.
That's right.
So you guys can continue on that journey, which I really love that for you. And obviously all the folks that you get to benefit. Okay, let's talk about this because I love this one. It's so reflective for me. You've had quite a journey. Now you've learned a lot along the ways. What's a piece of advice you wish you would have had that you feel would have been really transformative to you? So if you can go back to 18-year-old Esther, right? Before you're entering into, well, I guess maybe like 18, 20, I don't know, however old you were when you graduated. You're entering into the workforce.
Yeah.
Pre-Cisco, what is something that you're like, man, if I would have known that would have completely accelerated my trajectory or changed my career entirely?
Nobody's expecting you to be as perfect as you think you're expecting them to. I think if I had known that, I mean, I'm the queen of pivots, so I'm not afraid of taking risks. But boy, what I could have accomplished if I didn't care what people thought, or I wasn't thinking that I had to be absolutely perfect, or like the money I could have possibly raised earlier had I not thought, well, I can't go ask for that because I've got to be at this point or I've got to have this all buttoned up first. Progress, not perfection. And perfection, man, it's a thing that can hold back such creativity and possibility. And I wish I would have known much earlier. It's okay. You're not perfect. Do it anyway. Press forward anyway. Try it. Even if you fail, failures, learnings, try it anyway. So
that is it's a powerful reflection. Now I'm going to tell you, this is Thursday. I record 2 episodes on Thursdays. Literally the recording I did right before you. One of the things that she shared with me at the end is she goes, there's no such thing as perfection because perfection is perception. How you view perfect might be different than how I view perfect. So if you're striving for perfection, you're never going to satisfy my need because it's going to look different.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, if this was therapy, this would be our breakthrough moment. Because I'm like, similarly to most of the successful women that I get to interview and have on the show, we talk about this like desire to be perfect. and how we show up, right? And all the things we feel like we need to check all these boxes before we've earned the right to go and do something else or ask for the next thing.
Yeah.
But what are we working towards? There's no reality around perfection. And I was like, I sat there and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like,
That's right.
Okay. So given that you said that, that was how she left off our last episode. And I was like, wow, okay. That is powerful.
It's facts. Big facts.
All right. Well, Esther, before we wrap up today, and I have so loved our conversation today, what is the one thing you want our listeners to take away with them?
My goodness, again, progress, not perfection. And if anybody is listening here, and I know this is a huge go-to-market community, especially post-sales community.
Yeah.
I want you to know that your experiences, your story, your battle wounds are all valuable. There is somebody out there right now that if they knew what you knew, can get that much further because of your lessons. And whether you choose to leverage GrowthQ as a platform to mentor and earn to do that, or you just start sharing your story, either way, somebody needs to hear it because somebody needs that story for their next breakthrough. So if I can encourage anybody listening, again, whether you leverage GrowthQ to do so, or you just start sharing on social, or you just start mentoring more, you got to start telling people what you've experienced. Because even the thing you might think is small is like a huge breakthrough for somebody else.
I love that. I think that is such a powerful way for us to wrap this up. And I think it puts a beautiful bow on your story that you've shared with us today, Esther. So thank you so much for gifting us the time with you today and sharing your story. I feel like we could record 4 hours of your story, honestly, and still not even scratch the surface. So I appreciate you introducing us to all the things that you've been through. And I hope that you had as much fun as I did today.
I did. This was so much fun. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. And for those of you who are listening, if you enjoyed this episode, which I'm sure you did, please go over, rate and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, connect with us both on LinkedIn. Both of those links will be added in the show notes. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks so much. Hi guys, I want to share a bit about an organization that I support called Wednesday Women. They're on a mission to increase the visibility of executive women leaders that you should know, learn from, and be inspired by. On LinkedIn, they share the profile of 2 amazing women each week, on Wednesdays of course. And now just imagine if we all followed, amplified, and nominated the women that we want to see more of. Their initiative provides examples of women CEOs, founders, sales executives, technical leaders, and so many more. By supporting Wednesday Women, you'll see more of these professionals in your social feeds, of course, but also on stages, podcasts, and panels. If you're interested in learning more and supporting their initiative, head over to www.wednesdaywomen.org or follow them on LinkedIn.